Atmosphere in today's world of video games is a term usually reserved for the description of a game's world, and rarely anything much more than that. Perhaps one of the greatest achievements that Super Metroid has achieved over its 20-year legacy is how that word can be applied to practically every aspect of this masterpiece. Sure, in the end, each attribute in regards to atmosphere can be recalled back to its world, but that world is shaped from each of those components. If nothing else, Super Metroid is proof that subtlety is triumphant over any minuscule issues that age may have brought it. Super Metroid is a direct follow-up to its predecessors Metroid and Metroid 2 Return of Samus from the NES and Game Boy respectively. Even though this SNES game takes place directly afterwards, the game's introduction briefly alludes to the necessary plot outlines that preemptively contribute to Super Metroid's beginning, even though the original game's plot were extremely light to begin with. The game begins with our protagonist, Samus, returning to the Ceres space colony. Upon arriving, she makes contact with Ridley, who snatches the baby Metroid that she previously placed there to preserve. Following a rather exciting escape from the planet's destruction, she follows Ridley to the planet of Zebes, which is where the remainder of the game takes place. Aside from this opening sequence and its ending conclusion, story and cutscenes are completely absent from Super Metroid. Instead, its fiction is told through subtle instances through the world. Exploration becomes the true storyteller, as the detailed environmental aspects shine to fill in the remaining bits that your interpretation does not. Each creature featured throughout this approximately 8 to 10 hour trek is as unexpected as the last, thus adding another paragraph to the unwritten tales that Zebes has to offer you as the player. It's the very placement of these creatures that also contributes to the game's story left behind. For instance, the introduction at Ceres before the station's annihilation is exhibited as bare and completely vacant. No signs of life are seemingly present, as the lack of enemies reiterates the set tone. This form of presentation provides a morbid and dead sense to the previously prosperous station without the use of words or gameplay stopping scripting, a type of storytelling that most games lack and could probably benefit from. Exploration is not only the vessel for story in Super Metroid, as it also acts as your main gameplay component. From the instant you land on Criteria, you are free to roam from area to area. The twist on the formula is that of a standard Metroidvania, if that wasn't obvious, that being you are fully free to explore and trek through the world, as long as you have the suitable equipment. The endgame goal before the showdown with Ridley is to collect and obtain as many upgrades as possible. Along the way, you are bound to see areas you are unable to access due to lack of equipment or upgrades. Some are required for specific instances, but a large amount of additions can easily be missed. In total, there are 14 energy tanks, 46 missile tanks, 10 super missile tanks, 10 power bomb tanks, and 4 reserve tanks. The name of the game is progression. As you gradually receive these upgrades across the areas, you simultaneously gain power against your various foes, without the need of any shoehorn standard RPG elements. The hunt to collect and complete everything is a daunting yet satisfying achievement. The controls in Super Metroid are tight and still play smoothly on the D-pad. The only issue I had in regards to control is the wall jump. It was fairly awkward initially, as a few failed attempts my thumb began to ache a bit, causing some big frustration on my part. However, by the time the credits roll, you will be proficient with this move, which is something I can guarantee. Graphically, Super Metroid is among one of the best looking games from the era. The sprites are detailed and appropriate color to adhere to its setting. In addition to this, the use of lighting and music only adds to the feel that Zebes' environmental effects provide. All of these elements can be attributed to the atmosphere. It's the sum of these parts that push Super Metroid over the line in terms of quality. Minuscule issues may be pervasive in Super Metroid, but they come about as insignificant compared to this entire package. You can nitpick all you want with the lack of direction, occasionally tedious backtracking, and some dated level design aspects, but these slight inconsistencies lose impact in light of the achievement that Super Metroid still is. The atmosphere is unmatched, the challenge is prevalent, and perhaps most importantly of all, it's still fun. Super Metroid is an experience that will always hold its historical place among the most important titles in the evolution of video games. Truth be told, Zebes is still a world worth exploring. If you are a veteran wondering if this game holds up after more than 20 years, I can assure you it does. If you are a newcomer wondering if this game is still worth playing, from first-hand experience, I can assure you it is.